Hello world, Najee Coach here. I have been going at it hard all week, getting ready as best I can for our move to Portland. I'm trying to get as close to Data Bedrock as I can. Data Bedrock itself will be a series of vlogs over several weeks, possibly a couple months, to make a bridge from where we are now to Data Bedrock. So it won't be like all of a sudden it'll be we're ready to begin Data Bedrock and then it'll be the bridge. But I think I'm pretty close towards that bridge, and I'd like to get to it by the 1 month I have left before we leave for Portland. That way I move to Portland, set everything up that I need to get myself back into the game, and then I'd like to, if at all possible, boom, start making the Data Bedrock bridge. Data Bedrock bridge. Oh, it has a nice sound to it, doesn't it? All right. So today I thought what I would do, because I was feeling a little bad. There's been several good questions on the forums that I've not been able to get to, and then today I wasn't sure what I was going to be vlogging about, so actually I thought I would do a little grab bag of forum questions. All right, so here we go. Let's see. This one's from Dire Magpie. He was talking about various things regarding Nijai Keening, and he had this question. Last 2 decades, I feel like I'm slowly deteriorating mentally. I wish I could somehow get back to normal functioning, because now that I know what I need to do, I need to learn programming and make a game, I need to be capable of working on my project and learning stuff 7 hours a day or so like I used to before 2005. Now it's more like 7 hours a month. All right, well, 2 things on that. Is that you have to understand what your peak pathway is, and that the standard kind of like workload stuff that people think of in a kind of, general sense, whatever that is. No one agrees on that exactly, but general work stuff, Z's quite good at that. Certain kind of deadlines you need to make as far as an actionable item, and then take that item off of your to-do list. The thing is, being a Nijai, you're going to be doing a lot of work with imagination. So for example, when it comes to a game, you're going to need to spend time thinking the game up. A lot of time thinking the game up and enjoying being there with that experience and sharing it with friends and so forth. So it's important that that part of your peak pathway, your momentum powers, are being fed in order to power the Z and Vi aspects of your peak pathway. Second thing is that not only do those need to come first, is that also coming at it from more of a piecemeal basis, where you can find like a small place to start, and then you can build from there. A good example is Ben, working on the sample server program. He started with a small version that he could do with what skills he had in programming, and he's learning programming as he goes as well, and he's putting it piece by piece, building it as he goes, and then with myself, I'm playing with it on that program with him, giving him feedback that makes for exciting ideas of what to do next, and then these small little modules, and then the playing of the modules and sharing with friends, that makes for the energy to go figure out, ooh, I think I need to learn this programming thing or that skill set. And you take on just enough skill set to get the thing you really need done. And you start with things that you may already have those skills, or you're close to what you need, and just maybe a little bit more, you'd be able to perform that module of the game making campaign that you'd want to go on. All right, what else we got here? This one is from Alcides. Conan the Barbarian with Xenai Arnold Schwarzenegger and Zaini Sandal Bergman is a great story for physically inclined Xenez, made more Xenai in particular. Yeah, it's a good story, and there's a few others that I look forward to sharing with people once I get a little better idea. But I've already mentioned, I think it was someone, about the show Narcos in the 3rd season. One of the main characters in there is a Xenai. And there's, I think, a few more Zaini stories. For example, oh no, I gotta hold off on that case. I can't reveal that yet. I need to dial that in, and yeah, I can't give it away yet, because that would affect my reading. But I have an idea of something that might be an interesting Xenez story from TV. All right, he continues. The original Conan stories by Robert E. Howard are also great fun for me personally. There's no video footage of him, but it's possible Howard himself was Xenai, judging from his build, his interests, and possibly his face. Agreed. That's going to be a tougher one to read, so I'm going to have to wait until, my skills get even stronger and we'll see if it's even possible, because it obviously would be a very challenging read, not a lot to work with, and then he's a legend. But with that said, I have taken a look at his face, and it does make me think Xeni, although I don't feel strong enough to go any further than that. So I can see a case for Xeni. I can definitely see a case for Xeni based on the face, but obviously I'd like more pictures. I'd like to see the face moving. You do what you can do. But that, and also Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was a Xeni, so I think there might be something with Xeni in pulp writing, besides all the other areas of writing that they're strong at. All right. What else we got here? This is from Dire Magpie. This was actually in the Spirit Form Music, and there was a video that he put forward and said that apparently for some people, listening to this song on repeat for hours summons ghost waifu that instructs them about the spirits, about the secrets of the universe. So it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but actually it really is true, is that your spirits, they have greater wisdom than you do, but they need to talk with you in a way you understand. And art, music, is a great portal for that. So definitely, you can have playlists that can help summon certain spirits for you to interact with. So, all right, we got next here. This one, I'm not sure who wrote it, but maybe not Alcides. But the last line here said, on Mojos with the sample surfer. It seems to me that actually a lot of those samples tagged as easy are Zvi. They give me a Cro-Magnon impression, to be honest, LOL. Well, I do believe there's easy samples, A-grade samples for all the Mojos. Some of the gender Mojos I have more than others, but I think all of them have a decent amount. I don't know if the Zvi have a lot more than others, but they may have a decent amount. But I do see what you're saying about the Cro-Magnon. Magnon. It's where words get tricky, because that can mean so many things to different people. But perhaps you mean they have a very strong-cheeked, hard-faced yang quality to them. And if that's what you're referring to, then yes, Zvi definitely do have a strong-headed, strong-cheeked yang quality to their visage. All right, what else we got here? This one is, oh, okay, this is a bit of a tricky one. Dire Magpie was giving some personal accounts of his life. Part of that is his dad is not the kind of person that he likes. And that's tricky when you bring in the mojo phenomenon and the fact that there is such a high correlation to same-sex family members having the same quality of category. And that can be a bit alarming. But the first thing to note is that the human qualia phenomenon has evolved all this time, and it is the best thing out there. So it is the best. First of all, it's the best, it's awesome. So just on the genius of it, it rocks. It's top of the chain, energetically speaking, that we know of. So then next is that when you look at it from a totality high level, it's based on heroic scripts. Heroic scripts that people enact and live out, and they contribute the script of their source power. If they act out those adventures, it naturally leads into the script adventures for elevated living and being with their tandem power, then their offside, then their polar. And that leads into their unconscious genius making a complete storyline. Those storylines actually need to, for optimum peaking, they need to be able to link up with other near storylines. And those storylines need to stack other storylines on top of them until you have the entire social alchemy, you have the entire tribe of humanity. And the way you stack those is you need to be heroic, you need to be developed, you need to be peaking well in order to do so. So the human design is the greatest tech that's out there in the known universe, in known existence, and being heroic, elevating yourself, developing yourself, and expanding beyond yourself to the others in the tribe, that is how it works. So that's a very important premise, because if you have bad experiences, you meet bad samples of a given quality category, you can skew your thinking like, man, Nijai suck, and wait a minute, I'm a Nijai, do I suck? And it's very important to just break that spell with those two things I gave you. After that, then the question is, what do you do from here? Okay, well, what we talked about the music being able to summon your spirits, but also so do media samples. So you can use them to take in influences of how the story is supposed to be done correctly. So a few things that you can do is, I think we have close to 1,000 Nijai males. Try to find just even like 20 or 50, maybe even 100 ones that you would actually say, I find things about them admire. Nijai can sometimes be holistic this way, and that's wonderful, but one thing you have to watch out for, you don't have to like everything about them. But there's something that you find admirable, preferably enough that you think overall you would, veer, one side of a line that, they are a good person. But they don't have to be perfect. And you take them and you cobble together a spirit guide for you that has all of the quality attributes that you like, minus their flaws. And that's where you start learning from. I would make a playlist from this, and you being a Nijai, you also have the benefit that you can use music artists and painters and filmmakers and actors and comedians. Do a playlist and listen to them, and also look up their stories. If you find a Nijai that you think is impressive, you like things about them, read about them. Go to Wikipedia, go to YouTube, just do a general web search and try to find out things about them. You can study their pictures and maneuvers they make and how they react under certain circumstances. So that's a good thing to do. As you do this, you'll notice certain motifs will keep showing up, and some Nijai do them better than others. Start noting these motifs and how you would prefer to do it yourself, and observe the samples that you like who are doing it well. What else besides that? You can also look for how those samples get along well with others. So first it's a personal development, but you can also see are there romantic relationships they have that you think are done well? Are there career friendships that they do you think are done well? Close friends and companions, things of that nature, and you're like, okay, and that helps build you an idea of how it's done correctly. And the more you look into it, the more you'll see that we're born to be amazing, but some things with civilization can confuse us and cause people to go down dark paths, can twist their programming, and make for Daryu stuff to come up beyond what your Daryu and you can handle, and then basically demons get a hold of people. But that's demons taking over a should-be hero. That's important. Everyone is built to be a hero, the chosen one of their heroic story, and some people do not rise to this challenge that they should. Because everyone, that is the challenge you have, it simply is, and you have the gifts to do it, but it's hard. It's challenging, but from the challenge comes the growth, comes the fulfillment. All right. What else we got here? This one was a conversation about Hitler, whether or not he's a Xeni and things of that nature. So, someone was asking, there was Alcides, basically, that Hitler did not seem to have the wild, or Hitler has a wild passion that you're not seeing in some other Xeni orders. And it's true that a lot of them do have a very measured, stately style to them, but you do have more bombastic, rather hypnotic styles. For example, Rush Limbaugh. I mean, you may not like him, but he does have a bombastic and hypnotic style. He sways the audience. I forget the guy's name. Henry Rollins. Henry Rollins, a music artist and a spoken word poet. He has a very aggressive style of delivery that is also, again, considered very grabby. People gravitate towards it. It kind of puts them under a spell, but his style is I'm not using words, just you kind of get the general rhythm of the energy delivery, and Henry Rollins definitely has that, and there are others as well. So that doesn't immediately make me think that he can't be a Xeni because his style is more bombastic. It's not that uncommon, really. Perhaps it's just maybe more uncommon in some of the riffs you prefer, or in some of the other political riffs. Maybe usually going in politics, there's a style of Xeni that gets into it. For example, like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a different riff than a lot of other, because Xeni are in politics big time, but he's a bit different, and that's because he came from a different career. He's now moved over to politics, but he actually came from entertainment and business and a few other things like that. So he has a more bombastic style. He fits in with the WWE thing. We did performances there, things of that nature. So something to consider. All right, what else we got here? Okay, so then I think it was 011 perhaps was asking, I'd argue that there's more media footage of Hitler than either Stalin or Mao, but Hitler's unreadable. Why? Well, he's not unreadable, but he is not readable for me yet to a level that I feel comfortable with putting out publicly. And that's for the reason that Hitler is a bigger deal. Now I know, and people talk this all the time, and it's true, that Mao, he did more than enough of atrocities on his side. Stalin, no slouch in the atrocity department. But Hitler, for whatever reasons he has, his dark charisma or whatever, he's more well known. In fact, when people think evil bastard, it's pretty much Hitler. That's the name people think of. It's like a joke. Like, oh, you playing the Hitler card? Even we actually pull out some example of like, well, such and such can't be right because so-and-so is with that, and look how awful they are. They so-and-so is so awful and they touched it once, therefore anything they touch ever, ideologically or physically, is just a no-go because they're so awful. Okay, whenever that happens, that's basically the Hitler card, and that's what's called out there in the, pop culture. So for that reason, he's heavy. So there's a combination of, and he's heavy two ways. His name is much bigger recognition, and separate but related, his awfulness. The energy that is associated with him is seen as extra awful, and so for that reason, reading him is more challenging because it's more of a statement. It's more of a statement about humanity. It doesn't mean that he's like this dramatically different Xeni, or that Stalin and Mao didn't do more than enough to qualify for being awful to where they're harder to read, but it's not the same awful, it's not the same level, it's not the same degree in pop culture, and so that makes it a bigger deal to do. A bigger deal means it is heavier, it is therefore more challenging to do. But not impossible, but more challenging. All right, what do we have here? Someone was asking who's Dire Magpie about a music artist they like, and they were wondering basically that they liked that person who was a Nijai because they had a very raw, rather aggressive style, and they liked that, and they thought that that was something that Nijai don't tend to have, that they tend to be more flat. Personally, I would disagree with that, but maybe that's just a case of personal preference. There's quite a few Nijai music artists and Vijay, which are similar. They're both jazz gatherers. I find them to be quite raw. Yeah, I'm not sure what is meant by that. But yeah, in fact, actually, there is something they do share. Actually, the Z Alpha and the Jazz Gatherers, who are objective with Z, they can have a bit of a brazen style to them, including the Gatherers. So that brazenness can be a bit more like wild, which with the Gatherers, as compared to like imposing with the Z Alpha, but they do share a similarity there. Question is how it's delivered. So, for example, there's a lot of like Xeni artists that they deliver a lot of Z, and they have Z even higher than Jai, but the Jai is strongly there, then it comes through. So, I'm wondering if that's what you were meaning by it. I'm not sure if you're meaning that it's less emotional, because I'm having a hard time hearing that, or maybe they just don't push as hard. And if you're talking about that rawness, that intensity of pushing, in that case, there obviously is going to be a difference between directive objectives and adaptive objectives. All right, what else we got here? Almost done. And this one was asked by Alcides. He was talking about how he has always found the Xeni ladies attractive, him being a Xeni, even though some people may consider them to be unusual looking. That's like, for example, like a lot of high fashion models are Xeni, and they're considered both strange looking to some people, but also some of the most beautiful people that are walking the planet. So it's interesting, can go both ways. But he was asking in particular about maybe which kinds of partners you are attracted to speaks to which of your powers you find lacking. Definitely. Absolutely, because they complete you and they challenge you in a way that you are designed to be able to rise up to. So one, that challenge grows you, but also it validates you because you're able to fulfill that. Every Mojo design has areas that are more challenging to them. The four quadrants of priorities. In those four quadrants, some will be more challenging than others, and then within the quadrant itself, certain aspects will be more challenging than others. your ideal inspirational, your unconscious genius is going to actually do both. They're going to be stronger in the priorities that you are not, and they will concede your lead position in the priorities you feel stronger at. And then even within those priorities, they'll still be able in a leading capacity or a supporting capacity to round out what you don't have. They'll always have the power that you don't have in that quadrant, and they will not have the same rank. So ideal that way. Then he's saying, Ni might be a good way to get my Z out working. Yes, but I want to put a little clarity on that one. Actually, what calls to your Z most directly is Xi. Both Xi and Zhi, they have a sort of, you can't move me attitude, which is awesome, but that's part of their being calm and centered. But they also, as a part of that, and this is why they actually are approachable. That may sound like they're unapproachable, actually are, because they want you to take a shot. They want you, they're like, move me. Can you move me? I don't think you can, or I bet you can, or I'd like to see you try. The towers do invite approach, and Xi invites the approach of Z. So in your case, since you may be more held back and less familiar with your Z, the fact that the Xi is waiting for Xi, strong, good, correct Z, to make an appearance, to make an approach, to push on that tower, to circle the tower, to kind of shout out to it and see what the tower does and then react to its vibrations. It's wanting that. But you may be a bit leery of just swinging. If you're used to playing back, the forwardness of Z, you may feel not as comfortable with. So in that case, yes, the Ni can help with that, because the tower is kind of just there waiting for a dynamics moving power to engage with it. But if you don't right away, it can also dangle a bauble. Ni and V are very good at being agitatedly, that's the wrong word, excitedly approachable. And so the kind of getting a vision is like the Xi is waiting for you to swing on it or to push on it or to make an approach or an offer or something. And if you don't, it kind of goes, hello, and it starts playing with things. Ni and V are very playful, so it'll start playing with things, and maybe when it plays with it, you'll want to swing on it or grab it or hold it or build with it or do something with it. So trying to entice you to do something. But being a Xi Ni, the Ni is going to be enticing and playing with things, having fun, being clever, cross-contextualizing with things that are of interest to the Xi. So still, for the Xi Ni, the Ni is still coming from the Xi. But you're right, if you're not immediately inclined to approach the Xi, which it is open to if you are strong Z. If you are strong, good, correct Z, Xi is waiting for that kind of interaction. But if you're a little nervous, maybe a little knee dangling, a little knee, hey there, a little bobble will get you to make your move. All right, I think that's good for now, and caught up on the forum stuff. Stay tuned, and we'll keep on working towards the Data Bedrock Bridge. All right, take care.